Your mango tree is healthy. It has thick green leaves, it grows taller every year, but it never gives you a single mango. If this sounds like your tree, stay with me, because in the next few minutes, I am going to show you the one thing that can flip this problem upside down. If you find this helpful, hit that subscribe button right now, because we share simple, real gardening fixes every single week, and you don't want to miss the next one. Let me tell you about a grower who had this exact same problem. His mango tree was almost 8 years old. 8 years and not one single fruit. He was ready to cut it down. Then he changed just one small habit in how he fed and cared for that tree. Within one season, that same tree was loaded with mangoes. So many mangoes that branches were bending down to the ground. This was not luck. It was not a miracle spray. It was a simple shift that fixed what was silently going wrong underground and inside the tree. And today, you are going to learn exactly what that shift is. Now let's talk about the problem, because I know so many of you are dealing with this right now. You planted a mango tree with so much hope. You watered it. You watched it grow tall and strong. The leaves are dark green and full. Neighbors even compliment how healthy your tree looks. But season after season, you wait for flowers and nothing happens. Or maybe you do get flowers, but they just fall off before turning into fruit. You start to wonder if something is wrong with your soil, your weather, or even your own gardening skills. You are not alone. This is one of the most common complaints among mango growers, especially in home gardens and backyards. And the frustrating part is, everything looks fine on the outside, so it feels impossible to figure out what is actually wrong. Here is what actually happens inside that tree. And it is simpler than you think. A mango tree has two modes. One mode is called growth mode. In this mode, the tree is focused only on getting bigger. It pushes out new leaves, new branches, and new roots. The other mode is called fruiting mode. In this mode, the tree shifts its energy toward making flowers and fruit instead of just leaves. Most people don't realize that a tree cannot fully do both at the same time. If your tree is stuck in growth mode, it will keep growing bigger and greener every year, but it will almost never flower properly because all of its energy and nutrients are going into leaves and branches instead of fruit. This is the real reason your tree looks healthy but stays empty. Most home gardeners feed their mango tree with regular fertilizers that are high in nitrogen. Nitrogen is the nutrient that makes leaves grow fast and look dark green. It is great for a young tree that needs to grow tall. But once the tree is mature enough to fruit, too much nitrogen keeps pushing it to grow more leaves instead of flowers. The tree basically gets addicted to growing bigger, and it never gets the signal to switch into fruiting mode. This is why so many trees look perfect on the outside, but disappoint you every single season. So how do you fix this? The answer is to add potassium and phosphorus-based feeding, and reduce the heavy nitrogen feeding once your tree is old enough to fruit. Think of nitrogen as fuel for growing bigger, and think of potassium and phosphorus as fuel for making flowers and fruit. When you shift the balance, you are literally telling the tree, stop growing so much and start making mangoes instead. This one change is often the missing piece that turns an empty tree into a loaded one. Now let's go step by step so you can do this the right way, no matter where you live or what kind of mango tree you have. Step 1 is to check the age and size of your tree first. A mango tree usually needs to be at least 3 to 5 years old before it can fruit properly. If your tree is younger than that, the lack of fruit is completely normal and no feeding trick will speed that up. You just need to give it time. But if your tree is older than 5 years and still has no fruit, then the steps below are exactly what you need. Step 2 is to stop heavy nitrogen feeding for a while. Look at whatever fertilizer or plant food you have been using. If it has a high first number on the package, that means it is high in nitrogen. Set that aside for now. You are not going to throw it away completely, but you are going to stop using it as your main feed during this important phase. Step 3 is to switch to a fertilizer that is higher in phosphorus and potassium. These are usually the second and third numbers on a fertilizer package. You want to feed where those numbers are equal to or higher than the nitrogen number. Many garden stores sell products labeled as Bloom Booster or Fruit and Flower Fertilizer, and these work perfectly for this purpose. Apply this around the base of the tree, following the amount written on the package for the size of your tree. Step 4 is to apply this feed at the right time. The best time to apply a fruit-boosting feed is a few weeks before your tree normally starts to flower in your area. Every region has a slightly different mango season, so pay attention to when nearby mango trees usually start flowering, and apply your feed about 3 to 4 weeks before that window. This gives the tree enough time to absorb the nutrients and shift its energy before flowering season begins. Step 5 is to water the tree properly during this time. This step is often ignored, but it matters a lot. Mango trees actually flower better when they go through a short dry period before the rainy or flowering season. If you keep watering heavily all year round, the tree may stay too comfortable and keep growing leaves instead of shifting to flowers. Let the soil dry out a bit between watering sessions, especially in the weeks leading up to flowering season. Once flowers appear, then you can go back to regular, consistent watering. Step 6 is to prune your tree the right way. Pruning simply means trimming off certain branches. After harvest season or during the tree's resting period, cut off any dead, weak, or overly crowded branches. This might feel scary, but it actually helps the tree because it removes parts of the tree that are just using up energy without helping it fruit. It also lets more sunlight reach the inner branches, which encourages flowering. Do not prune heavily right before flowering season, because that can accidentally remove the very branches that were about to flower. Step 7 is to check the sunlight your tree is getting. Mango trees need full sun, which means at least 6 to 8 hours of direct sunlight every day to fruit well. If your tree is in a shaded area, or if nearby trees or buildings have grown taller and are now blocking the sun, this could be a hidden reason your tree refuses to flower. If possible, trim back anything that is blocking sunlight from reaching your tree. Step 8 is to give the tree a rest period. This means avoiding extra fertilizing or heavy watering right after a stressful season, like extreme heat or a recent harvest. Trees need time to recover and store energy. If you keep pushing new growth constantly without any rest, the tree never gets a calm period to shift into fruiting mode. Step 9 is to be patient and consistent. After making these changes, do not expect flowers overnight. It usually takes one full season, sometimes even a full year, for the tree to respond to this new balance. Keep following the same routine of proper feeding, proper watering, and proper pruning every year, and your tree will build the habit of fruiting regularly instead of just growing bigger. Let's slow down for a moment on step 3, because choosing the right feed is where most people get confused at the garden store. You will see bags and bottles with 3 numbers on them, like 10-10-10 or 15-5-5. Those 3 numbers always stand for nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, in that exact order. For a young tree that is still growing bigger, a higher first number is fine. But once your tree is old enough to fruit, you want to flip that pattern around. Look for a feed where the second and third numbers are equal to or higher than the first one. Something like 5-10-10 or even 6-12-12 works very well. You do not need an expensive specialty brand. Even a basic tomato or flowering plant fertilizer often has this same balance, because tomatoes and flowering plants need the same kind of nutrient shift to produce fruit. This means you may already have something at home that can help your mango tree without buying anything new. It also helps to understand why phosphorus and potassium matter so much. Phosphorus supports root strength and helps the tree build the energy needed to form flower buds. Potassium supports the movement of that energy through the tree, and it helps flowers hold on instead of falling off too early. When a tree has enough of both, it has the strength to actually finish what it starts. This is why some trees do flower, but then the flowers drop before turning into fruit. That dropping is often a sign of low potassium, not a random accident. Adding a potassium-rich feed at the flowering stage can make a real difference in how many of those flowers actually turn into mangoes. Another detail worth mentioning is how you apply the feed. Sprinkling fertilizer only on top of dry soil does very little because the nutrients cannot reach the roots easily. Instead, water the soil lightly first, then spread the feed evenly in a circle around the base of the tree, starting a little away from the trunk and reaching out toward the edge of the leafy canopy above. That outer area is where most of the active feeder roots are located, not right next to the trunk. After spreading the feed, water it in gently so it soaks down into the soil where the roots can actually use it. This small detail in placement can be the difference between a feed that works and a feed that gets wasted. Now let's talk about the mistakes that stop people from getting results, even when they are trying hard. The first big mistake is overfeeding with regular fertilizer out of excitement. When people don't see fruit, their first instinct is to feed the tree more. But if that fertilizer is high in nitrogen, more feeding actually makes the problem worse, not better. It pushes the tree even deeper into growth mode. More is not always better, especially with nitrogen. The second mistake is watering too much, all the time, with no dry period. Many gardeners believe more water always means a healthier tree. But as we talked about earlier, mango trees actually need a bit of stress and a short dry spell to trigger flowering. Constant heavy watering keeps the tree relaxed and growing leaves instead of preparing to flower. The third mistake is pruning at the wrong time. Some people prune right before or during flowering season because they want the tree to look neat. but this often removes the exact branches that were about to produce flowers. Pruning should happen after harvest, not right before flowering. The fourth mistake is giving up too early. Some people try one feeding change, wait 2 weeks, see no flowers, and go back to their old routine. But trees don't respond that fast. This process takes patience, usually a full growing season, before you see real results. The fifth mistake is ignoring the age of the tree. If your tree is still young, no amount of feeding tricks will force it to fruit early. Trying to rush a young tree with heavy fertilizer can actually stress it and slow down its healthy growth. Sometimes the real fix is simply waiting until the tree reaches proper fruiting age. The sixth mistake is treating every mango tree the same way, no matter the climate. Someone growing a mango tree in a warm, dry region will have a different flowering pattern than someone growing a tree in a more humid tropical area. If you follow advice made for a completely different climate without adjusting the timing, you might apply your feed too early or too late for your own tree's natural cycle. Always pay closer attention to your own tree and your own local mango season, instead of copying an exact calendar date from somewhere else. The seventh mistake is planting the tree in a spot that seemed fine at first, but slowly became shaded over the years as nearby trees, walls, or buildings grew taller. Many gardeners forget to reassess sunlight conditions after the first year or two. A tree that had full sun when it was planted might now be sitting in partial shade without the owner even realizing it, and that alone can quietly stop flowering, no matter how well the tree is fed. The eighth mistake is skipping the soil check completely. Some gardeners focus so much on fertilizer type that they forget the soil underneath might be compacted, poor, or draining badly. Even the best fertilizer struggles to help a tree whose roots are sitting in unhealthy soil. Taking a few minutes to loosen the topsoil and mix in some compost before feeding season can boost the results of everything else you do. Now here is a bonus tip that experienced mango growers use, and most beginners have never even heard of it. Experienced growers sometimes lightly stress the tree on purpose right before flowering season. This might mean skipping watering for a short window, or even lightly scratching a small ring around a branch, which is called girdling. This small stress signals the tree that it needs to focus on reproduction, which means flowers and fruit instead of just growing bigger. This is an advanced technique, so if you try it, do it gently and only on a healthy, mature tree, and never on a young or weak one. Even without girdling, simply applying the dry period and potassium-rich feeding at the right time captures most of this same benefit safely. Another hidden insight many experienced growers use is watching the tree's own natural rhythm instead of forcing a fixed calendar date. Every tree is slightly different. Some mango trees are naturally early bloomers, and some are late bloomers, even in the same garden. Instead of applying your feed on the exact same date every year, watch your tree closely. Look for small signs like a slight pause in new leaf growth, which often means the tree is naturally getting ready to shift into flowering mode. That pause is your window to apply the potassium and phosphorus feed for the best results. It also helps to remember that soil health plays a background role in all of this. A tree growing in poor, compacted soil will struggle to absorb even the best fertilizer you give it. Before applying any fruit-boosting feed, loosely turn the top layer of soil around the base of the tree and add a bit of organic compost. This helps the roots access nutrients more easily, which makes every other step in this process work even better. One more insight that separates casual growers from experienced ones is understanding that mango trees often settle into an every other year rhythm if they are left unmanaged. This means a tree might fruit heavily one year, then barely fruit at all the next year, simply because it used up so much stored energy producing that first big harvest. Experienced growers manage this by feeding and pruning consistently every single year, not just in years when they see flowers. This steady yearly care helps smooth out that up and down pattern. So instead of one huge harvest followed by an empty year, you get a more reliable, moderate harvest every single season. It's also worth mentioning that container-grown mango trees, the ones planted in large pots instead of directly in the ground, follow these same basic rules, but they dry out faster and use up nutrients faster too. If your tree is in a container, you may need to apply the potassium and phosphorus feed a little more often, in smaller amounts, and check the soil moisture more frequently, since pots do not hold water and nutrients as long as open ground does. The core idea stays exactly the same. You are still shifting the tree from growth mode into fruiting mode, but a container tree simply needs closer attention along the way. Weather also plays a quiet but powerful role in all of this. Unusually heavy rain right when flowers are forming can wash away pollen and cause young flowers to drop before they turn into fruit. Sudden cold snaps during flowering can do the same kind of damage. While you cannot control the weather, you can time your feeding and pruning to give your tree the strongest possible start, so it has the best chance of pushing through a rough patch of weather instead of losing its flowers completely. A tree that goes into flowering season well-fed, well-rested, and well-pruned is simply more resilient than one that goes in stressed, overfed with nitrogen, or weakened by poor soil. Let's quickly recap everything so it's crystal clear in your mind. Your mango tree stays empty because it is stuck in growth mode instead of fruiting mode. This usually happens because of too much nitrogen feeding and too much constant watering. To fix it, you reduce nitrogen, switch to a phosphorus and potassium-rich feed. Apply it a few weeks before flowering season. Allow a short dry period before flowers appear. Prune properly after harvest. Make sure your tree gets full sunlight and give the tree enough rest between growing cycles. Avoid the common mistakes of overfeeding, overwatering, wrong time pruning, and giving up too soon. And if you want to go the extra mile like experienced growers do, watch your tree's natural rhythm and support healthy soil underneath it. This single shift, moving your tree from growth mode into fruiting mode, is often the exact missing piece between an empty tree and a tree so loaded with mangoes that the branches bend down. It does not require any expensive product or rare trick. It simply requires understanding what your tree actually needs at this stage of its life and giving it exactly that at exactly the right time. Once you see it work on your own tree, you will realize how simple the whole idea really was all along, and you will never look at a bag of regular fertilizer the same way again. If your mango tree has been disappointing you year after year, now you finally know why, and now you finally know exactly what to do about it. Try these steps this season, be patient, and give your tree the time it needs to respond. I promise you, the reward of walking outside and seeing your own tree covered in ripe, juicy mangoes is worth every bit of that patience. If this video helped you understand your mango tree a little better, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button because we are going to keep bringing you simple, honest gardening fixes just like this one. Drop a comment and let me know how old your mango tree is, where you live, and whether it has fruited before, because your comment can genuinely help other gardeners going through the exact same struggle right now. Give this video a like if you learned something new today, and share it with a friend or family member who has been asking the same question about their own mango tree, or anyone in your life who has an empty mango tree standing in their backyard right now. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video, where we will tackle another common gardening problem and turn it into a simple, easy win for your backyard, so your garden keeps getting better, season after season, year after year.